President this morning, Markie, by the way, warning Iran to come to a deal over its nuclear program or attacks will get worse. Joining us now, the former U.S. Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff, retired Lieutenant General Richard Newton, NewsNation senior national security contributor. General, always nice to see you. Good morning. Thanks for being with us on such a consequential day and morning. And to Markie's point there, General, what Israel's intelligence service has been able to do over, call it the last year or so, either in Iran or in Lebanon with these attacks. You look at the buildings as well. They were going after certain floors or certain units. Put it into perspective for us, what they were able to accomplish overnight as they say Iran was and is getting close to a nuclear weapon.
Well, good morning, Blake and Markie. Always great to be with you. I'm going to use the word remarkable. We've been talking about Israel employing over 200 aircraft in this operation last night. And if we go back to October 26, it's really a page out of their playbook. They've already demonstrated an incredible ability to reach and strike Iran in this case. But really, I think the key to this, what we're going to really come to find out, is the exquisite intelligence that they had both on the ground as well as elsewhere. The use of not only Mossad, but military intelligence to go deep and precise, with precision and attack these targets. It was their air defense systems that they attacked against Iran. It was their command and control. And then they went after their nuclear sites as well, specifically Natanz. But also, I think really the key to the intelligence aspect of this was going after and being able to take out the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps commander as well as the Iranian chief of staff. That's tantamount to the United States chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So just a remarkable evening last night. I think there's going to be more to come, however. There's still many pages left in that playbook by Israel.
Yeah, doesn't end here, that's for sure. General, I'm trying to put myself in the minds of everyday Americans who are waking up to this headline this morning, who are saying, okay, now what does this mean for me, for my family? I mean, are we talking terror threats here at home, retaliation? You don't want to be an alarmist, but how do you answer that? And what do you foresee coming here?
Well, I certainly wouldn't raise the alarm bells for the American people, but it does. I'd underscore the fact, Markie, that we have significant U.S. national security interests in the region. I'd remind our viewers we have 700,000 Americans that actually live and work in Israel. We've got 45 to 50,000 American men and women in uniform in the Mideast itself. But our U.S. national security interests are to maintain, the peace in this region. Also, we're going to stand by our key ally, that being Israel, who's been on the front lines certainly since October 7th, but really many years before then. So I believe it's in the interest of the United States that we, our national security interests, we maintain those and support those through supporting Israel in this case. I don't see any direct threat against the American people or certainly the United States homeland, although you never rule that out. But nonetheless, I believe this was beyond just a prudent move by Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel, because taking out Iran's growing nuclear weapons development capability, and it's reported they were within days of having nuclear weapons, 9 of them specifically, by Prime Minister Netanyahu. That would upend the entire Mideast. Yeah. That would be bad for Israel, certainly bad for the United States, and frankly, bad for the world order.
So, General, we know that President Trump is going to be having a meeting with his national security team today. When you think about that meeting, or at least the commander-in-chief, and today President Trump sort of surveys what happens and tries to project what's going forward, how do you think he views this?
First and foremost, I've been in the White House sit room, and this will be a very critical meeting, certainly led by the president. He'll have members of the National Security Council, as I mentioned, in the White House sit room. He's going to try to first get a really thorough debrief of what actually occurred last night, what the results of the strikes were, but also he's going to be briefed on over the next several hours, if not several days, in terms of what the threat streams look like, both there from Iran, but perhaps other threat groups that could be focused on Israel. And primarily, he is going to be asking the questions and will be briefed on how we're going to be able to protect our American men and women in the region. As I mentioned, Blake, there's 45,000 U.S. men and women serving there. But first and foremost, what the president's going to be focused on, and should be, is protecting those men and women. I believe they are. There's significant layered defenses, as your last commentator made We've got very effective layered air defenses against both drones and ballistic missiles and so forth of those men and women stationed over there. But that'll be first and foremost on his mind. But however, we'll try to draw up, and our relationships with Israel will try to get an understanding of what they portend for the next several hours, if not several days, that could involve more military strikes. I would anticipate that also, Blake. But first and foremost, how we're going to protect our American women in the region.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.